That's right. I bought another statue for you.
Lucky me.
Lucky you, is that because you're married to me or because I bought you another statue?
Both.
So this is J. Scott Campbell's Evil Queen from Sideshow Collectibles. This is actually the 5th in a line of 6 pieces that they have come out with, and we own the other 4.
Correct.
The first one I ever got her was this Tinkerbell right here. You can check out the review. And then I think after that, it was probably the Alice in Wonderland.
I think so. Yep.
And then also is the Little Mermaid. And then the most recent one is the Red Riding Hood. But I think the Evil Queen suits you the best, personally.
Did you say Cindy? We have Cindy up there, too.
Oh, we do have a Cinderella.
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't even notice I called her an Evil Queen. She just noticed I was wrong and forgot something. That's what an Evil Queen would do.
It is.
Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Mrs. X is here to unbox her 6th. We just did the math and I still can't figure it out.
This is 6, I think.
Number 6, J. Scott Campbell. So this is J. Scott Campbell's Evil Queen. J. Scott Campbell has been doing some artistic designs for Sideshow Collectibles on, they're all Disney, I think. Red Riding Hood, I can't remember. We talked about that. That may not, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
How do you put up with me? I just ramble and my thoughts go all over the place.
I just don't listen.
What?
Exactly.
So, this is actually the villain, the Evil Queen from Snow White, right? Isn't she from Snow White?
I think so.
Or is it Cinderella? Isn't there an Evil Queen in Cinderella?
Maybe.
No, those are the evil stepsisters, right?
Oh, yeah.
I get those two confused.
Me too.
But let's go ahead and start the review.
Let's.
You want to unbox and assemble it, and I'll watch?
Like normal.
All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about the assembly when we get to design because we have to go in order. We have to follow the rules. You know, I'm a big rule follower. Did you know that?
You're not.
You're really ruining my cred here.
I know, right?
All right, so we're going to start off the review with talking about the Evil Queen. So the Evil Queen is from Snow White. And if you're big into social media lately, you know there's a lot of controversy around Snow White. Disney is redoing it like they've done everything. And the actress playing Snow White has opened her mouth one too many times. And did you know any of this? Yeah. So now they put it on pause, and rumors are that she's going to get fired, which I think she should because she is stupid. So with that being said, this is the Evil Queen who got jealous that Snow White was so beautiful. And the storyline was, I'm surprised I know this, her mirror, her faithful mirror, which was like her only friend, asked her mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Correct. And every day the mirror would say that the queen is. And then one day it said Snow White. So she got really mad and she went to go find Snow White. Snow White was living in some, orgy with some midgets or something like that.
Oh.
That's probably what Disney is redoing in the
It might be, yeah.
remake.
Yeah, it sounds about
And she appeared to be an old lady and gave Snow White an apple that fell into a deep sleep until a prince...
Prince Charming?
Was it Prince Charming?
I think that's...
With a name like that, you have to be good. Well, he forced himself upon her. That's what they're saying is wrong with the 1930 fairy tale. Because she was sleeping, so she didn't give consent to be kissed.
Oh.
I actually recently saw a parody online. Mm-hmm. I wish I still had the link. Where they were making fun of it. The prince found her, and the prince is like, "Can I kiss you? Can I kiss you?" And he goes, "Sorry, guys. She has to be in a coma for the rest of her life." But anyway, so that is the story behind her. We're going to put her upstairs. If you want to see what she looks like in the collection with the other pieces, check out the Extreme Channel social media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The link is in the description below. So
You're going to take a picture of her upstairs with everybody else?
We will.
Oh, cool.
When I film this stuff, I talk about stuff in the future like it's the past.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm very sneaky.
It is kind of sneaky.
So let's first start talk about the concept of this piece. Now, the one thing is it okay if I drive, or do you want to drive?
You can drive. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. So at the base here, you have a few things going on. So first of all, the mirror. The mirror is a separate piece that's only available with the deluxe. We'll talk more about that later. So you have the mirror, and you can put the mirror next to it. You can put it behind it. But on the base here, you have two things going on. There are some stairs because she lived in some type of evil castle. So Maleficent I think that's her real name. She's Maleficent, She was played by Angelina Jolie in those two movies, which I quite like, but that's because I like Angelina Jolie.
Of course.
And you have a bunch of wisps around her. I call those wisps.
Oh.
So I'm going to assume that that's some type of magic.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, some type of stuff. But there's almost some skulls forming in there. You see that?
I've seen that too. I was looking at it on the back.
To show how evil she is. And she's not just evil. She's sexy evil. I mean, all these pieces have a huge sex appeal to them. Which, if you're follow the channel, you know that I don't like that in my statues. And she knows that too.
I guess I do now.
So, they make these scantily clad dressed women. And that's no exception here. So, she's showing off some legs and some high heels with her nether region barely covered. And then it gets even worse when you get to the top. Her bosoms are flowing out. Yep, I said bosoms. I'm not even drinking. I'm drinking an energy drink. But and what I like is really cool. She's holding up a chalice or a glass. So she's getting drunk, which I appreciate. And there's even magical stuff coming out of there. It reminds me of the Bartesian Halloween stuff that's currently coming out.
Oh.
They just announced it, like the holiday stuff.
Yeah.
And she's looking very proud. So we're going to assume she just poisoned Snow White. And if it was Rachel Ziegler, the new actress playing her, good for you. Great job.
Oh.
Try waking up with not giving consent to the prince. So she has a little bit of mannishness in her face, in my opinion.
Oh, I didn't look at it yet, really, that close.
Trust me.
Okay.
And see, she's wearing a neck cover so you can't see if she has an Adam's apple.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's 2022, so she could be male. So I like the concept a lot. I think the concept of all these statues is really cool. They're doing some really creative, elaborate things. 1 through 5, what would you give the concept?
I'd say 5.
I agree. Do you give it a 5 because of the mirror or even without the mirror? And there's some cool stuff on the back of the mirror too, by the way. Check that out. Is it a 5 without the mirror?
No, I think it's a 4 without the mirror. I think the mirror just puts it...
I agree. And we'll talk more about, you could order it with or without the mirror. We'll talk more about that later. Now, design, you saw the unboxing. We had some difficulty with the mirror. So on the bottom, the mirror is actually lit up right now. The light up feature isn't very good. So there's a switch on the bottom. Here, let me turn it off. Oh, it looks better on camera. Oh, now it won't turn back on. There it is. So on the bottom, you put in 2 AA batteries.
AAA, I think.
AAA, which it actually came with, which is incredible. But the cover right here is held by a screw. Now, unfortunately, our screw was threaded, so we couldn't get it off. So we had to bend back the cover plate and use a screwdriver and pray to God we don't break it to get the batteries in. It's like the factory just shoved the screw in instead of screwing it in.
But it didn't break, so.
No, but it's permanently broken. But the light up feature is actually down here. You can kind of see it on my hand right there. And it lights up. I think there's a light up back there too. Yeah, and a light up in here. So again, the mirror is optional. All of them come with light up features. As far as the Queen, this is how she comes. There's no other display options. There are some issues with the Queen with some seam lines. Right here on the back, you can see that the seam lines for the wisps aren't the best.
Correct.
But it's on the back. And if you display the mirror right behind her, which I almost think is a crime because you don't get to see the cool part of the mirror. She kind of blocks that.
Yeah, she does.
So we'll see how we display it upstairs. But why don't you measure her for the crab?
Course.
Her and then the mirror separately.
Separately? Okay. Yeah. So she is probably the top of her little crown, 18 inches.
For exact dimensions, check out Sideshow's website. That's where I bought her. There's a link in the description below.
And 19 and a half with the mirror.
Okay. What about wide and deep? Yeah, do the whole thing deep.
Yeah. It's a little tricky here. 16 inches with the mirror. Without the mirror, it's probably like 8.5 or 9.
Okay.
Then width, it's about the same with or without the mirror. So 11.
11. Now, she's probably the tallest of all the characters, but I think she's really the only adult. Alice is a child. Red Riding Hood is a child. Tinkerbell's a fairy.
Cinderella's pretty tall.
But she was like a teenager. So, but, yeah, so display's nice. Like I said, you could put the mirror next to it, behind it.
Well, I don't. If it goes beside it, it's gonna have to be like far off.
Yeah.
Because of the angle of the.
Yeah, I think the way they had the mirror, this triangular base, kind of makes it difficult to display next to it. But I understand why they did that for stability. Sure. So
yeah,
I get that.
Yep.
So design overall, what would you give it 1 through 5? 3 being average.
I'd give it a 4.
I'd give it a 3. I don't think it's incredibly elaborate, and they missed with the batteries. The light-up feature could have been better. How we talked about, you have to display the mirror behind. I think that messes it up. There's the seam line and the wisps. I could go on forever, baby.
I see that, and you are.
All right, for paint and sculpt, I'll do some close-up video for you guys, and then we're going to rate it. So let's look at the mirror first. I think the flow of the mirror is really cool. Right now, the light-up feature is actually off. I have the spotlights on it. But it almost looks like there's movement within the mirror, which I think is pretty cool. And then her friend here, which looked somewhat corny in the cartoon, I remember, looks evil. I like that. Gives the illusion of evil. And the colors on this are very reflective off the colors on her, which is nice. And whether it's the blue or the purple, kind of matches it really well. And even the base down here, kind of this circular design of movement, and they added in some additional colors right there. You can see the gold almost that's matched in with it. But here's some Easter eggs on the back. You have some symbols from Snow White. You have the sword, Prince Charming's sword it looks like, some skulls, a heart in the middle, and then the flowers. So it's almost like this mirror here is a mix between good and evil, which I think essentially it is. Now on the Queen herself, I think that some of the sculpt down here mixes well with the paint, but it also makes it look a little amateurish, but it's still pretty good. I like the stones, looks like a real castle. You know, we were just in Orlando actually a few days ago, all the Disney stuff. And I think the way it transitions to the different color of wisps is pretty cool. On Snow White, or not Snow White, on the Evil Queen herself, those are some high backs to her high heels there. But I like the flow of her outfit. It gives movement to the statue, which lines up with the wisps, if you will. Very long legs, so the anatomy is a little questionable on that. They always like to go big chest for these, which I don't understand why, but I don't know, poisoning our kids early. And again, very scantily dressed, but it looks like there's so much flow to the statue. And the paint's incredibly clean. I think they chose a great skin color for her there. She has the traditional Maleficent horns in her hairdo, which I think is pretty cool. And even you see a lot of individualized strands. There's some mix of brown and red in her hair. Big old belly button. And these might be imperfections on here or just moles. She's got a mole on her lip and then one on her chest. A few folds in the outfit as well. Then let's look at her portrait. Very stoic. Again, I said has a little bit of a mannish. I think it's the eyebrows. They could have done a little bit better job on there. The eyes are definitely decals, kind of this incandescent, I don't know, incandescent's not the right word, but kind of this eerie stare. The crown, I'm glad it's not too gold. I like that because she's kind of a self-proclaimed queen, if you will. So not a true royal queen. The glass looks fantastic. That's one of my favorite parts. The chalice here has a translucent resin to, assume there's liquid in there. And it's this pink color, so almost like maybe that's the poison she used with the apple. Her collar has this, again, a kind of a red flow to match her lipstick and the jewel on her crown. So overall, pretty impressive with the paint and sculpt. These rarely disappoint. What would you rate the paint on the statue? 1 through 5.
I think it was very clean. I haven't seen any misses on the paint. I'm not for sure. Is she wearing is that part of her bodysuit? That's kind of a weird color for her legs.
Well, yeah, because her back and stuff is a different color.
I know. I would give it a 4.
I'd give it a 3. I agree with you. Very clean, and I like we talked about the different brightness in the colors.
Yeah, I like the transitions from the colors on the edges to the base. Yeah.
What about the sculpt? What would you give it?
Her face is, like you said, kind of
mannish.
Yeah, but I like all the detail on the back of the mirror and everything. I'll give it a 4.
I agree. I go 4 on this as well. Now, was she worth it? So we're all into this line. We bought every single one. We haven't pre-ordered the latest one, which we probably should, since this one's sold out, actually. So the latest one is Jasmine from Aladdin right here. In fact, we'll pre-order it today. But they made 2,750 of these. 2,000 have the mirror. 750 do not. And they're both waitlisted on Sideshow. Now, I bought it from Sideshow. I don't buy a lot of stuff direct from Sideshow, but I bought it because I had some points that were going to expire. But she retailed right under $400, which I think is a fantastic price.
Yeah.
Even with a high edition size. Now, one thing with all these pieces is they've come out with a lot of variants. They always come out with different colors. I don't know how they do that with her, but I'm sure they'll find out a way to make more money, especially since she's already sold out and it just started shipping now. But I think the value, what do you think the value, 1 through 5? So 3 is kind of, if we sold it today, we could get our money back. 4 is we can make a little bit of profit. 5 is a lot of profit.
I would say 4.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if we tried to sell this today, it's a fantastic piece despite some of the flaws. But the real question is, does this have the X factor? So is, of the J. Scott Campbell pieces we have, is this in the top 2?
I would say 3. Number 3.
Oh, it's number 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 through 5 overall, what do you rate it?
I'd give it a 4.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I think this is a 4. This is a great addition. I haven't been disappointed with any of these. They continue to do them, so that's definitely why we should pre-order Jasmine. She has a cool concept as well. What do you guys think? Where do you rank her in regards to the other ones? And don't you think that if Mrs. X said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all," they would definitely say Mr. X?
It probably would.
As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you want to make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, thank you to Mrs. X. Thank you to Mr. X for buying her another statue for her.
Thank you, Mr. X.
You're welcome. You can thank me upstairs later. Or right here, once we turn the camera off.